Alright guys, so the next match is, oh yeah, this is one of the bigger ones here. We got Thunder Rosa, the current AEW Women's World Champion, the Meta, defending her title against Serena Deeb. And holy crap, that was a hell of an intense match. Serena Deeb was as vicious as we were expecting. She was like, targeting body parts, doing all kinds of weird submission moves. Thunder Rosa was also trying to, do her own moves and everything. It was just, it was just pretty intense. Oh my god, my mind is so whatever. I can't remember any specific spots, but I remember it was brutal. I remember I was on the edge of my seat during that match and everything. If any of you guys could bring up any specific spots here and there, but I do remember being very entertained. I remember that Serena was just getting up no matter what. She was just, vicious as you would expect. But in the end, Thunder Rosa came, saw, and conquered, and she is still the AEW Women's World Championship. And I believe, did she, I think she shook her hand, like, for respect afterwards and everything. But you guys can remind me of any spots.
She like slapped her hand like they were going to, and then they didn't. Or something like that.
Yeah, but this was a pretty good match. I honestly, to me, this was close to the match of the night for me. There were some pretty good spots on there. Some really close near pinfalls, especially early, like when Rosa dropped the Death Valley driver on her. And then even went as far as to like put her in a figure four, which she ended up rolling out on. But overall, it was a good match. Deeb is freaking brutal. I mean, that chick is off the chain. I'm really looking forward to what she's got going on with her later on in AEW. But yeah, overall it was a damn good match.
Between this and the main event, I think this might, as far as just ground mat wrestling and adaptability, having two of the best women wrestlers on the planet, it hit every notion. It really made me happy. I was so into this match. I was so happy with how it turned out. And I'm really just happy to see two of my favorite women wrestlers just finally get to go at it and just tear the house down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's about time that we had like a really, really, really good women's match. And even Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, they're both extremely talented. They're both, powerful, very agile. But yeah, it was extremely intense, and I'm pretty sure there were many times that it's like Thunder Rosa was like super close to winning the match, but then Serena Deeb would still, get out of the pin, and then there's times that it looks like, holy shit, Serena Deeb's actually going to win the match. Like, holy shit, like, oh my God. Thunder Rosa might lose the match. But, in the end, she did win the match. And it's very awesome. And one thing I would also like to add, the reason why I also like Thunder Rosa not only as a wrestler, but I also like her as an individual. I like how she pays huge respects for her country, Mexico. I like how her fans are also very passionate. And you have the guys like in the background. That was the guy that had like a huge Mexican flag out in the background. And Thunder Rosa's always wearing very like traditional clothing, and I just like her overall style. And I just like the fact that, despite the fact that she's fighting here in the States, right, she still has like a huge respect to her roots, and she's still paying tribute to that. And I just like that so much about her. I don't know, it's just the way she does that. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, her heritage is extremely important to her, even more in a unique way for a modern audience to get behind.
Yeah, so pretty good match. Let me take a quick look here. I believe we all went for Thunder Rosa. I don't think we would have... Yeah, we all went for Thunder Rosa. So everybody gets a point. And let me just add these points on here for everyone. But the thing is, I kind of think that Jade needs to go up against someone like Serena Deeb. Even if Serena Deeb takes the L anyway, she needs someone of that caliber. That's more of a match, you know what I mean? Because it would have been the same thing. If it was Anna Jay versus Thunder Rosa, you're kind of like, for a pay-per-view match, you know what I mean? So I kind of want to see her face bigger opponents. whenever the time comes, you know.
Yeah, that Jade Cargill match was probably the most lackluster of the entire pay-per-view, to be honest.
So now we're going to get to the real crazy one, guys. The Jericho Appreciation Society. This time, Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Angelo Parker, and Matt Menard going up against the Blackpool Combat Club of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, joined by Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. And the Anarchy in the arena match. And holy shit, they weren't kidding. Right off the bat, when Jericho and them all showed up, they played their theme and Judas and all that good stuff. But then when Moxley showed up, they started playing Wild Thing, and they start fighting. They start fighting like right there, beating the crap out of each other all over the like outside the ring, the stands. The music is still playing. The match hasn't even started yet. They haven't rung the bell, but the music is just going on and on and on. I think it played in its entirety like 3 times until Jericho or someone, I think it was Jericho, finally grabbed the thing, the sound or whatever, and stopped it. But
yeah, he grabbed the soundboard and he smashed it.
Yeah. And, I mean, people were getting beat bloody, man. They were, like, stabbing each other with forks on the forehead and stuff. I think one of those guys, I can't tell the new guys apart, either Menard or Garcia, their whole face was covered in blood and everything. And, I mean, they're just beating the living shit out of each other. I remember they were all, like, I mean, oh, God. My God, my memory is so bad for this right now because it's so far into the week now. But I remember it was just crazy hell, man. They were beating the living shit out of each other. They were using... They had a table full of barbed wire, didn't they? Yeah, they threw Jon Moxley into the barbed wire and he got stuck. He couldn't get off and everything. And,
you couldn't see it on the camera. He literally, as soon as he went through the table, they literally could not get him out, even after the match ended. They had to get wire cutters to get his pants off.
Oh my God.
There was a couple of things that happened when I was at the arena that they didn't catch on camera. They saw the gasoline spot and all that shit. Like, that was crazy. Like, I'm like, yeah, no wonder. I mean, well, Danielson got pissed because Kingston poured the gasoline on him and in his mouth, and he was, like, spitting it out.
Yeah, that was a crazy thing, too. The dude actually came over and spilled gasoline all over Jericho with the intention of actually lighting his fucking ass on fire. Not just a fireball, but basically burning him alive before he got stopped.
Yeah, but he would have fought. He was literally getting it on his own shoes. He was getting it on, like I said, he got more of it on Danielson than he got on Jericho. It was so stupid. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
And on top of that, with today's gas prices, too, jeez.
I'm like, who's the real villain here?
Hey man, that's almost $6 a gallon, dude. You better either swallow it or put it in the gas tank. What are you doing?
Oh man, but in the end, the what do you call it? The Jericho Appreciation Society won, and I mean all of them were like bloody messes. Like they all fought wars to get that win. So that was a hell of a good win, and the only thing missing was I really wish Regal was there somewhere because he was starting some beef. It would have been kind of funny to see him just go in there, kind of give a cheap shot to Jericho and leave or whatever. Or he should have been behind the mic so I could, because I want to hear more of that nonsense with the whole, oh yeah, look at Jon Moxley being thrown around by big horrible men. Well, that's what I like, and all that stuff. That's always like funny.
Yeah, it would have been funny to at least see him do like a little Vince McMahon take, or even just pop out and just throw one good European uppercut and call it a day. But this match was bloody. This was more of a New Jack Appreciation Day than it was Jericho Appreciation Society. It was pretty rough, very brutal. Like you said, Kingston was spitting gas everywhere except for on his opponent. But overall, definitely one of those matches that you could, kick back and watch again. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought this match was extremely brutal. There was, blood everywhere. Everybody fighting like everywhere. Like, I don't know. Like, this is the kind of match that you kind of have to watch it maybe even twice to kind of fully understand what's really going on in this match, because there's just a lot going on. But yeah, the whole like pouring gasoline thing, that was like, what? That's some crazy ass shit right there. But yeah, it was a very intense match. Jericho won in the end. It was shit. It was quite a match.
Yeah, so right now I believe, let me see here. Yeah, so oddly enough, Johnny went for Jericho. We made a good point that this is their big pay-per-view debut as the Jericho Appreciation Society, and actually got Ninja Panda to change his mind and go for Jericho too. So I guess both of you guys were right. You went with your guts. So you both got an extra point.
Yeah, Johnny was having a heel night that night. Like, starting to make me wonder. You like turned into a member of the Dark Order? What's going on there?
Oh.
Yeah, right now Johnny's doing that claw motion thing. So anyways,
I thought like a sidekick of some sort.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Remember that when the Dark Order first appeared, there were a whole bunch of random dudes with masks. The only ones that kind of stood out were Stu Grayson, which is sadly released now, and what's his name, Player Uno. But you don't know. I mean, Johnny could have been one of them guys. You don't know.
Yeah, it could have been.
I mean, well, some of them were pretty thin, kind of skinny dudes. Could have been Johnny. I don't know. I don't know what he does in his free time. So right now, the next one we have is Jurassic Express in a 3-way tag team match. They got to defend their tag team titles against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, and also Team Taz, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks. And yeah, pretty intense match. That whole dynamic where. But I remember that Keith Lee and Strickland have beef with Team Taz, and Team Taz also is always picking on Jurassic Express, but Keith Lee and Swerve, they don't really have any personal beef towards Jurassic Express, so Team Taz had to kind of like the disadvantage, right? Because you got two teams that hate them and everything. But yeah, it's a pretty good match, and it's always cool to see Keith Lee going up against Powerhouse Hobbs. That's pretty awesome, and wow. Most of it's a bit of a blur. I was really surprised that Jurassic Express actually retained, but they did. They won the match, and they're still currently the AEW World Tag Team Champs. Any thoughts or spots with all the... I mean, I guess there's some flippy shit, but most of these are big dudes, so there's not that much flippy shit.
Yeah, that actually surprised me that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus actually retained the titles. It was still pretty good match. You had... Keith Lee and Hobbs, which basically, like Biggie said, it's two big men slapping meat. It was a pretty good match. Had a lot of fun watching that one.
I'm surprised they had like that match right after that one, because something slower like the Riley Darby Allin would have been a cool down match, but they had like two bangers back to back,
This was a fun, solid match. I thought it was pretty good. Didn't really have any comments to make about it. I thought it was just fun. It's just a fun match. I kind of hoped Lee and Strickland would have won, but I'm still happy with the outcome.
Well, I don't have much to say, but it was so overall good match. Yeah, my mind's pretty blurred out as well because I also had a long day and all that. But yeah, I guess it's good that Jungle Boy won again.
I have a question for Jack about this kind of stuff after we're done with the final thing, so we don't get too off tangent. But so the last match we got here is the AEW World Championship match, which is CM Punk challenging the champ Hangman Adam Page. What can I say? It was a pretty intense match, and one thing I remember is that they were kind of like trying to imitate each other's moves. There were times where Hangman Page was trying to beat CM Punk with the Go to Sleep DTS, and CM Punk was trying to get Adam Page with the Buckshot Lariat and stuff. And I forgot, was there not a part? Yeah, there was a part where Hangman was trying to pick up CM Punk to do the Go to Sleep, but when he was like spinning him around, the fireman's carry position, he actually knocked the ref back a bit. So I think he actually nailed it, but since the ref was out, like he wasn't able to count. And of course, by the time the ref got back up and whatever, Punk was ready to keep fighting. But yeah, it was a pretty intense match. At the very end, it looked like Page was gonna do the Buckshot Lariat and just end it, but CM Punk grabbed him and reversed it and did the GTS and won. So now CM Punk is the new AEW World Champion. And that was a hell of a match. That was pretty cool. Sometimes, after 10 or so matches, like the championship match is sometimes kind of like, oh god, let's just end this already. It's like the last match in the card and stuff. But this was pretty intense. This one kept me wide awake.
Yeah, this was a pretty intense match. It was pretty cool to see like both of them digging deep enough that they were copycatting the other person's move or stealing the move. Like CM Punk doing the buckshot, and then Adam Page nailing the go to sleep. Like it really brought like a good storytelling dynamic to it, that they were actually struggling to beat each other rather than just, okay, well, I'm doing this spot, you're doing this spot, and go. Like there was actually a storytelling of an actual struggle between those two trying to finish each other off. And it was pretty fun, pretty dramatic. I loved it. Definitely a match of the night. I will give them credit for that. Usually, like you said, last match is the main event. You're just like, fuck, let's just get this over already so I can go to bed. This one actually kept me up and going. Like, I wish it could have went on for at least about 5 more minutes. It was a damn good match.
I mean, it was almost like 1 a.m. Like, I'm surprised had they gone 20 more minutes or had the Jurassic Express match been a bit longer, it would have gone all out and been like all the way to 1 a.m. It ended at around like 12:40.
Definitely match of the night. I loved it. I loved it. I think, well, they're two of my favorite wrestlers right now, but I literally, like, super fanboyed about Punk winning. I was like, everyone in my whole section was like on their feet, screaming and happy. One thing I did love was that, and like I said, their balance between them. Punk winning is a great thing for the industry, because, I mean, it makes sense that they had Punk won because of the fact that they just merged with Warner Brothers and Discovery Plus, so they need someone who can help elevate the product to make it more commercially appealing. And Punk is that perfect guy for that. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen with it, because maybe he'll turn villain. I don't know. Summer of Punk 2, because it is technically summer, so it makes sense. Yeah, overall, like there was a couple parts I was like, ooh, like I was really worried about his knee, because he almost buckled a couple times, and he even said after the match, FTR came down, which I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're friends. He said, remind me never to ever do a buckshot lariat again. So he's like, he literally said that, like, he's like talking about, like, you know, how it's crazy that almost to the day is when he won the title was the last time he was in the ring. I'm like, that is pretty cool if you think about it. From the last time he was champion to now, it's been about 11 years almost to the day. So, or 10 years to the day. It was like, it's pretty cool the way they did it. I was like, oh, all right. And like I said, overall, I had goosebumps in the match. Like, it reminded me why I'm a fan of wrestling, and that's all you could really want in this sort of match. And any people that are like, I've heard a bunch of people, oh, it was an okay pay-per-view. I'm like, this one match was one of the best matches AEW's put on, period. So this took away any of the misgivings or problems with the pay-per-view itself, because it was so cool to just experience Punk as a champion again. Even if it's only temporary, I don't care. It's the fact that he's the only person in history to ever be the WWE, Ring of Honor, and AEW champion.
That's pretty cool. In my opinion, I think this was actually one of the best pay-per-views we've had in a while. Except for that, Jay Cargill match. I think that one's kind of like the so match. But all the matches, okay, maybe the match with what's his name? My mind is
Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, maybe that one's also kind of like all over the place. But other than that, the pay-per-view was very good, actually. Maybe it's because it's been a while since we've had this, double or nothing in Vegas, So maybe that's why it kind of feels that way, too. Like, it's like about damn time, But putting putting that to the side, I think that this match was extremely good. It was pretty awesome. It's very well deserved. CM Punk winning this match. But yeah, I'm just more interested to see what they're going to do with CM Punk next after this match. Like, what's in the making,
Yep, so let's see what happened here. Okay, so, oh god. So both you and I, Johnny, went for CM Punk, while Ninja Panda and Jack Knives went for Hangman Page. But you can't blame you guys. I mean, his reign was kind of like not that long, so I was expecting him to, you guys were expecting him to retain.
That he could have won the match.
Yeah. So in the end,
it was pretty close.
Yeah. In the end, I've got, let's see here. Holy crap, yeah. So Johnny actually won this one. So Johnny got 8 points. Ninja Panda and Jack both got 7 points. And I got 6 points. Now there you go. So Johnny won. So Johnny, whatever. You win something or other. We never give anything to the winners, do we? And me as the loser, I guess, I don't know. I'll hang out with Nia Jax again, I guess. And everything. So, one question I had for you, Jack, because you weren't here in the last episode we were talking. I kind of mentioned the fact that AEW guys, they're kind of like they're too well known for having like long title reigns, to the point where if someone just won the title or it's only been a month or so, you're already kind of predicting like, yeah, he's not gonna lose it so quickly, he or she, the next pay-per-view or whatever, So I'm thinking, who do you think is gonna be the first ever champ that's only champ for like, couple of weeks or whatever, or, maybe Lance Archer wins a title, but then bam, here comes Jon Moxley, beats him as a champ after like the next pay-per-view or the next episode of Dynamite or something. Like, who do you predict will be the first ever champ with them? And not counting the ones that zigzag, like, Cody and Brody Lee and Cody and Sammy and Scorpio and Sammy. I mean, just in general, first time ever champ, and then he gets screwed out of the belt like the next pay-per-view or the next episode or something.
That's a good question. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I think if it was going to be anyone off the top of my head, maybe Christian Cage. Maybe. Maybe Sting. I don't know if they'll even put him on in the title picture. But, like, yeah, someone, like, older that I could see, like, the young guys beating, Who I'd really like to see step up, which I know he's very talented, but I want to see more than just squash matches. I want to see Hook actually in like a long match. And I'm waiting for that to happen. Hell, I would love it if at Forbidden Door he gets to fight someone in like, if it was him versus the Dragon, holy shit. The Dragon would destroy him, but I would love to see it. Like, I want to see him actually get pushed to his limits.
Or pushed to do
not
anything,
just
basically.
walk in, yeah, I want to see an actual match with him. I don't want to see guarded or protected wrestlers. I'm sick of that shit. That's why I don't watch WWE, because everyone's either protected or a jobber. Like, there's no middle ground anymore.
And like I said, sooner or later you gotta surprise us. You can't, like if it gets to the point, like let's say Ruby Soho wins the title, and I don't want her to have a short reign. I'm just saying, let's say she wins the title, and then the next pay-per-view she's defending against someone else. I mean, we're all gonna predict, well, she's not gonna lose. I mean, she just got the title in the last pay-per-view. I mean, sooner or later they gotta surprise us and be like, holy shit, so-and-so already lost the title. Like, it can't always be that predictable, because after a while, yeah, it becomes easy to predict.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta. I've said this before on multiple podcasts, but it's not just with wrestling. It's in regards to all entertainment. The worst thing entertainment can be is predictable. Because predictability, like if something's so predictable, you don't even want to watch it because it's so boring. So the worst thing I think could be is predictable, and I think that. I don't want AEW to fall in that suit. Like, that's one of the reasons I loved that they took away the creative control from the Bucks and from Cody, because it was becoming predictable. And Tony took away that control, and since he's taken away that control, it has elevated the product. You know, now they have a working relationship with New Japan, and they got Forbidden Door around the corner, and I'm really excited to see what the hell is going to happen with that. And I'm hoping that maybe some AEW people will show up to New Japan, and maybe some women from Stardom will show in and beat the shit out of all the women. I don't know. I want to see what the possibilities of it. I want to see what's going to happen with Ring of Honor. I want to see... That unpredictability is what makes me a big wrestling fan, because when you have someone like an MJF, for example, who you know exactly what he's going to do. Like, his moves are so stale in the ring, but it's more to do with the fact that you know, no matter who he fights, no matter when it is, he's going to cheat. And the reason wrestlers like Roddy Piper and Ric Flair could get away with that for as long as they did was because they didn't need to cheat. That's the difference. Like, that's the reason why someone like an MJF will never be on the same caliber as Adam Cole or Jay White. Because the thing that makes them so good is Adam Cole, and Mark, you'll totally get where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
Jay White is like a fighting game main bad guy.
Yeah, he basically is.
Can he cheat? Yes. Does he need to cheat? No. It's kind of like when you look like Geese Howard. Does Geese Howard need henchmen? No. Does he have them? Yes. Or does Sagat need, or not Sagat, does M. Bison really need fucking henchmen?
Oh,
the dude can literally fly. No, but he has them, so he's gonna use them. Like, it's kind of like that. Like, that's how a villain should be. But, but MJF is like henchman number 3 sitting in henchman number 3 sitting in Scarface's throne and going like, "Ooh, I'm Scarface. Look at me." And then Scarface walks in, he's like, "Oh, I was gonna give you the shirt for you, boss." That's MJF. MJF is the guy who wants to be the guy, but he can't pull it off. And
sad part about it, I've got a meme in my mind now of MJF picking up the ring and literally Geese Howard standing by the side of the ring going, "Predictable."
Predictable. I would love to see that, man. Also, I will say, on a random side note of Jay White, one thing that pisses me off that Ruby does, she can't do the goddamn Blade Runner right. It pisses me off. Like, the Blade Runner and, like, the Sister Abigail, there's a way you do it. Like, when Bray does the Sister Abigail, it's more like a neck breaker almost. No, yeah. It's like a face plant when he does it. When Jay does it, it's like a neck breaker, and when Ruby does it, it's kind of more like she tumbles with them. Like, there's a way to do it. Like, you have to just don't do moves you don't know how to do. It's as simple as that. Although, one thing I do hope to see, I kind of hope to see, now that Punk is champion, I'd like to see him do the Anaconda Vice. Like, I'd like to see him pull that out again.
And yeah, so they got what was Tanahashi and other people coming out. I forgot what matches were like announced or hinted at, but I am predicting that the closer we get to it, they're gonna announce more and more matches, because you know how it is. I know everyone's excited for the Forbidden Door, and I know like a lot of people bought it without even knowing what it is, but you can't just literally have a card without knowing who's in it. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's awesome or whatever, but you literally can't have a card without knowing who's in it. So I'm sure they're gonna announce the matches.
I don't think Tanahashi's going to fight Punk. I think Tanahashi's going to fight Moxley, because he's been calling him out for months. And then I think Punk should end up fighting Kenta, because that's the match everyone's been wanting to see. Danielson should fight Zack Sabre Jr., because that's also a dream match for everybody. And...
Well, apparently they announced the only... Yeah, sorry, go on. It looks like the only match that's been officially announced is CM Punk versus Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, damn it. Oh, well. Well, you know what? It's fine. Tanahashi's going to put up... Tanahashi can literally have a 5-star match with a mailbox. He's so damn talented.
Yeah, and not only that, but it makes sense because CM Punk is the champ, so it's kind of like, well, let's see what you got, champ.
It is kind of random because Tanahashi's not the champion. Okada is, as of right now.
Mm.
He's got to fight Jay White on December 16th or June 16th for his title, which I hope Jay wins. Because I want Jay to be the champion again, and that way, he could come to the States and defend that shit. I would love it if the Bullet Club took over AEW. I would be so fucking happy. But then, like the Elite go, hey, we're all friends, and then they all turn on them. That would make me so happy. It's like, hey, it's too sweet. You remember, guys? It's like, yeah, no. That's what I hope is going to happen. But I also hope the Briscoes show up, but that's not happening either. Oh, well.
Oh, you never know. I mean, they let it slide for the Ring of Honor show. It's technically AEW, sort of, kind of, whatever, so... Well, another thing, Jack, we were saying that we're going to review... Of course, we're going to review the Forbidden Door, too. And we're also going to review any other pay-per-view that Ring of Honor might have going forward. We're thinking about also reviewing Women of Wrestling whenever they have their, pay-per-view.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not up to date with Women of Wrestling, but that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that they're supposed to start sometime this month, which is why the whole Tessa Blanchard thing was such a shock. That so, like, dude, they didn't even start yet. You're already fucking things up, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I'll keep you posted. Because I'm assuming they're going to have regular shows first before, doing pay-per-views and stuff. Build up the feuds and all that. But, yeah, I think that's all she wrote for this episode, guys. We kind of had lots of cool stuff, lots of cool things looking forward. I mean, the AEWX New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door is going to be fucking awesome and incredible. And it'll show lots of American-only viewers, like, what the Japanese are really all about when it comes in terms of wrestling and everything, which, of course, all you guys know that most of the bigger guys actually went to make their names big in Japan first before coming to the States and everything, so that's all awesome. And, so we'll definitely be reviewing that one and giving our predictions, assuming that they give us a card to predict, and we'll see what's going on. So, do you guys got any other closing thoughts or any random extra thing? Anything else you want to say? Or
MJF's a cuck.
Oh my god, such language.
I'm kidding. I don't know if that's true.
Panda, Johnny, anything? Any last thoughts, comments? Any random last minute gossip or things?
It was a very good pay-per-view overall. There were a couple of matches that were lackluster, and two matches that, just not even go there. But overall, yeah, it was a very good pay-per-view they've had in a while. And all I could say is it definitely, it's been a lot better since Cody's been gone. I can tell you that.
That is true. And I mean, even when he was still there, like the last pay-per-view or so before he left, just that he wasn't on the card or whatever, like we were so excited about this or that or this or that, like you don't even think about it. You don't even say, well, wait a minute, why doesn't Cody have a match? Like a WWE would be, like if you have a big event, you're kind of like, well, wait, why isn't like Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or Becky, why are they nowhere on the card? I mean, and I admit that would look kind of weird now that they're not on the card, since they're like the big ones, And I mean all three of them, not just one or the other. I know Roman's took his weird break or whatever. But like, yeah, you have a pay-per-view without Cody, no one even misses him. Oh, Jack, what has Cody been doing? I mean, the most I know is that he actually beat Rollins twice. But other than that, like, what else has he been doing over there?
Apparently he's been having a feud with Rollins, from what I gathered. I will say, I don't follow WWE, but I did see one line which it reminded me of the Wrestling Simpsons meme I saw, where Rollins had a great promo where he literally, he was in the crowd and he says to Cody, he goes, "You and your pals spent 3 years trying to tear down everything I built. It's like, but you couldn't get the job done. You don't get to take a sledgehammer to the throne and then come back here and try to take it again." And I'm like, ooh, that's a good line.
Yeah.
And then I remember that Simpsons wrestling meme. It's like, I knew that spot was gonna make him regret it.
Oh man.
But I'm like, that was the first like official, I guess, reference to AEW. But like I said, I don't follow it. I follow AEW enough. I follow New Japan enough. Wheeler Yuta has been tearing the house down. He's been doing really well in the Best of Super Juniors. He's not in the finals, but he's been doing really well. And one of the cool things is that the Dragon Shingo Takagi, he's actually the Japanese announcer for a Japanese commentary team for AEW. So when AEW Dynamite and Rampage airs, it airs in Japan the next day on the network, on New Japan World, if you live in Japan, and you can hear them commentate on what's going on. So there's a woman, I just forgot her name. I want to say it's Sataki-san, or what is it? It was... I want to say it's Sakura-san, but it's not her name. But she is like a major, like, just a gigantic wrestling fan in general. But she does Japanese commentary for both Stardom and for New Japan and for another show and for AEW. So it's funny because, like, she follows all of the storylines of every wrestling promotion. So, like, when they're doing the Japanese commentary and they don't know something, they ask her, and she goes, the Dark Order, and da-da-da. Like, she'll know shit from, like, Dark and, like, Elevation. So, like, she clearly, like, she's, like, a mark upon mark, and she's, like, one of the cutest girls, just, like, it's so funny. See this really cute, very petite Japanese girl just super into, like, all of this wrestling is really funny. But it's also kind of cool to hear the Dragon talk about AEW. Because he literally would be like, Like, they'll be like, oh, of all these people, who would you like to fight? He's like, I don't know. Be like, I don't know. Some of them are all right. Some of them, they wouldn't last a minute in the ring with me. I'm like, well, he's not wrong.
Oh, God. All right, so I guess it wraps up this episode of the podcast. I think we all pretty much said our thing there. Pretty good pay-per-view overall, minus a couple of snags. Yeah, I guess, I mean, like on one side, a couple of snags, but the better matches, like, more to make up for it, basically speaking. So it kind of sort of evens out and everything. And, I mean, you do need to, a little break to get an extra beer or something. So there you go. Thank you, Sammy. And, but yeah, so that basically wraps up this episode here. We'll be reviewing the Forbidden Door and giving our predictions and whatever else comes our way. And on behalf of everyone, this is Mark Rodriguez here.
NinjaPanda 1980.
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
And Johnny Rodriguez.
Yep, see you next time for another episode of the Diving Cutter Podcast. Take care, everyone.
Peace.
Hey guys, last minute update here because this just got dropped in our laps now. First of all, minor update that MJF has been removed off the merchandise, off the AEW shop. You can't buy his shirts and stuff. And he's also been removed off the AEW roster page. So, whoa, let's see what happens there. But the biggest news is now on Rampage, where CM Punk vacated the AEW World Championship title because he had a broken foot because he had to do surgery. And the main reason we're doing it is because we're doing the podcast. You guys are listening to us gush about CM Punk winning the title, and you guys are like, but he just dropped it. So we're kind of updating you now. Any random thoughts, guys?
Yeah, that's a damn shame. Like, he finally got the title, and he had to relinquish it. He had to, like, put it down. That sucks, man. I wish CM Punk a speedy recovery, but damn, that's a tough break.
Ooh.
No pun intended.
This is quite a shocker.
Yeah, so next episode of Dynamite, they're going to have like a big battle royale, and whoever wins is going to go up against Jon Moxley, because Moxley's like I guess he's the number one contender right now, and whoever wins that will be the interim champion, because they really end up doing that now. I don't know if that's ever been a thing, but in other wrestling promotions or whatever, but, he'll be an interim champion until whenever CM Punk comes back, and of course they'll have their big match and unify the titles and all that, but still, that's a big shock. But like what Ninja Panda mentioned a couple of times about the Buckshot Lariat, I'm thinking maybe the Buckshot Lariat did him no favors. But then doing that trios match, he was limping trios match that was on Dynamite. CM Punk was limping afterwards. This is all brought to us by our very own DJF, by the way. They gave us all the news and everything. But wow. Just wow, dude. One more thing to mention is that this big match between the winner of the Battle Royale and Jon Moxley will be held at the Forbidden Door to determine who is the AEW Interim World Champion. So that's a pretty cool match for the Forbidden Door. And also, now that CM Punk is out of commission, who is Tanahashi going to face? We got to find out. One thing for sure, we'll be here to cover it. See you next time, guys.